Recently, Ben Carson in a Republican debate said that we should do taxes like the Bible, just tithe 10%. Now, in reality, of course, this is an excuse to cut taxes on the rich. Here's the problem with quoting the Bible, though. You should read it first. Because it turns out Ben Carson doesn't have any idea what's in the Bible. Adam Chodorow at Slate did a great article explaining what the Bible actually says about taxes, so let's find out. The Bible actually refers to a number of different taxes or tax-like practices that are divinely inspired, including the temple tax, the agricultural tithe, and non-agricultural tithing, the practice of giving 10% of one's income to the poor. So let's pause there for a second. So you have many different kinds of tax in the Bible, not just one tax. Second of all, when they say tithing, that means you give 10% of your income just to the poor. It doesn't mean that you also take defense spending out of there, Social Security, Medicare. 10% is just for the poor. And then you have all the other taxes. You want to do that, Ben Carson? Oh, you don't, right? Because you don't really care about the Bible. You just want to protect the rich. All right, more on the Bible and taxing. The temple tax, described in the book of Exodus and mentioned several more times in the Old and New Testaments, requires each male over the age of 20 to pay a half a shekel, regardless of wealth or income. In contrast, tithes, described in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, impose a flat rate, such that each person pays a proportional amount of his or her income. So when they talk about a flat tax, they're half right because some portion of the Bible talks about you just pay the same thing no matter whether you're poor or rich. Although if we're taking the Bible literally, it's half a shekel and then that's it. Pretty sure we're not going to be able to run the Defense Department on half a shekel. But other parts of the Bible actually have it proportional. That is, there's another word for that. It's called a progressive tax. So if you're rich, you're paying a portion of your taxes based on your income, not just one flat fee. Okay. But actually gets even more progressive than that. Quote, those who actually need charity were relieved of the obligation, and those with little to give were asked to give something less than 10%. However, those with significant assets were actually asked to give up more, up to 20% of their assets. Thus, far from being a flat tax, as Carson suggests, this practice was actually progressive in nature. Great! You want to follow the Bible now with a progressive tax rate? Now, of course, Jesus didn't talk about taxes in this context, but he also did say you should give up all of your worldly goods, give it all to the poor. You want to do that, Ben Carson? Oh, all of a sudden you don't want to follow the Bible. So actually, this has nothing to do with you being religious or appealing to religious voters or anything to do with the Bible or let alone Jesus Christ, who basically was at least a socialist, but by your definition, probably a communist. Didn't believe in private property, wanted to give away everything to the poor. In fact, said, if you are rich, it is harder for you to get into heaven than for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. You would have despised Jesus. So keep it real. The next time you're going to talk about the Bible, read it first. Final judgment of not me, but God, is that you should pay more in taxes.